Hey man, welcome to Grandview. It is night number 5, race number 4 of Pennsylvania Speedweek. There were only 24 drivers here. This was my first time here. I was almost unimpressed, but then I was impressed. I had a good time. It was a cool racetrack, and it's out east. It's like near where Tommy Hinnershitz is from. It's cool, and I like the variety in the Speedweek schedule. So we did hot laps, and then we only had one time trials group for the 24 cars because it was a smaller field. Logan Schuchart was the fastest over Anthony Macri, Emerson Axum, Danny Dietrich, and Devin Borden. Heat race number 1 saw Danny Dietrich and Skylar G on the front row. They had a nice little battle between 5th and 7th that was 3 wide at the start, and by the end of the first lap that kind of single filed out and everything was just kind of in line. So we went through that whole heat race, Danny Dietrich in front of Skylar G, so that was 1 and 2, over Aaron Bollinger, Logan Schuchart, and Dylan Norris. Danny Dietrich and Logan Schuchart went to the redraw from the first heat race. Heat race number 2 saw the front row of Devin Borden and Troy Wagaman, which was a good duo to put up there. There was some fantastic racing at the start in the front and the back. So at the front we saw Devin Borden, Troy Wagaman, and Anthony Macri have a nice battle, and then at the back it was JJ Loss, Freddie Raymer, and Kyle Reinhardt making it interesting. This went on a bit, but then it spread out again, and we ended up seeing Devin Borden win over Troy Wagaman, Anthony Macri, Ryan Taylor, and Kyle Reinhardt, with Borden and Macri going to the redraw. Heat race number 3 saw Cody Hartlob on the pole in the Trone car with Jesse Addard in second. Addard washed up on the very start of the heat race but got it back, and then in turns 1 and 2 was able to get in line and battle again for the lead. He ended up getting the lead from Cody Hartlob and then took it the rest of the way. There was a nice little battle between TJ Stutz, Tyler Ross, and Chris Arnold for a little bit. The 11T showed a lot of speed there that I thought would translate further into the night, but it didn't really, and then spread out a little bit elsewise. Jesse Addard won the heat race over Cody Hartlob, Emerson Axum, Lucas Wolf, and TJ Stutz, with Axum and Addard going to the redraw. Then there was the feature, so it was a 35 lapper, and the draw for the pole went to Logan Schuchart over Anthony Macri in second, so that was a fantastic front row to see. Anthony Macri made a big run at the start and took the lead. It was really cool to see him do that out of turn number 2. It was good racing all over, and I would describe it as chaos from my perspective. Now, when I've gone to a lot of races over my day, this kind of reminded me of USAC midgets, the way it was just so chaotic. It was like Hornet's Nest racing. So Anthony Macri was leading, and Logan Schuchart didn't really have a chance to catch up to him until we hit lap traffic, and that was when it got really interesting. Logan used the traffic as a pick and was able to take over the race lead, and then after a little while of that, so it kind of funneled out to the lap cars on the bottom and the fast cars on top, and then we saw Lance DeWeese, who was really the first guy to start using the bottom to his advantage and use it strongly, as he's running Tony Jackson's car tonight rather than any of the other guys' machines like the Shearer car he usually runs. He was the first to really start making it work. On lap 23, we saw Anthony Macri pass Logan Schuchart back for the lead, and then a few laps later, the favor was returned when Macri tried to go into turn number 1 and 2 on the high side to get around lap traffic. Logan stayed in behind those cars and ended up getting a better run out of the corner. The last 5 laps were pretty much rubbered in, and the track was dead, so nothing really exciting happened. It was basically just in line for the last 5 laps, and then we saw the checkered flag come out. Right as we were about to see that, Anthony Macri tried to use the top side of 3 and 4. He sent it a little too deep and ended up hitting the wall fairly hard. Nothing major to damage the car that he couldn't finish, but he just had to try something, and it didn't end up working. It was kind of interesting to see, but we saw Logan Schuchart win his first race of PA Speedweek competition over Anthony Macri, Devin Borden, Danny Dietrich, and Skylar G for the top 5. So the final results are on the screen now for the top 10, and I will flip now to the points after the night. It was very exciting to see Macri and Dietrich accumulate some points, and they're trying to fight between each other. It's basically Dietrich versus Macri for the championship, so that's interesting. And at the end of the night, they're working in the track again because they have a modified feature to do here after our sprint car show. My main man Hunter Hensel behind the cameras getting you some shots of that, but I had a lot of fun tonight. I'm really excited to maybe come back here again, and I'm really excited to keep Speed Week going. Next time out, we're at Port Royal. That's going to be fun, going up to the Speed Palace, a great racetrack, but I had a good time with this one, so definitely giving Grandview a thumbs up. I got to make a big shout out to Brandon Gibson, my main man. We were hanging out tonight, and Hunter Hensel behind the camera. He's Hensel Media. He did a lot of help for me. We drove out here together. It's nice to have somebody around with you that you're not just alone, and also he's holding the camera. And that's all from Grandview. We'll see you at Port Royal tomorrow night. Thank you, everybody.